I'm 37 years old, a pretty successful businessman, and I've been with my wife since high school. We actually first met in 10th grade, then got married as soon as she turned 19. She's 2 years younger than me. Let's call her Vanessa. My work has me traveling abroad all the time, and I've even got more than one passport to make international moves smoother. Up until recently, Vanessa used to join me on every business trip. But that changed when she decided she wanted to work again. At first, I wasn't too happy. I'd gotten used to us being together. But she explained she was tired of being home alone, doing chores day in and day out. And yeah, being a supportive husband, I couldn't say no. She wanted to grow, to feel needed outside the house. I still traveled a lot, but I made my trips shorter and less frequent. Usually, I'd take off without any worry, even though Vanessa always complained that she didn't get enough of my time. This time around, I was supposed to come back on the 31st. But since Vanessa's birthday was yesterday, I wanted to do something special and surprise her. I managed to wrap up my meetings early. Trust me, it took a lot of hustle, and flew home. I had it all planned. I'd crash at a buddy's place for the night, so she wouldn't suspect a thing. Before I went to see her, I picked up her birthday present, a brand new Mercedes I'd already paid for. I grabbed a huge bouquet of flowers and parked near her workplace, just waiting to see the look on her face. I was sitting in my car, feeling totally amped up, picturing how Vanessa would freak out with joy when I showed up a day early. Plus, I had this insanely expensive gift for her. Finally, she walked out of the building. But before I could jump out and yell surprise, I saw some guy come up to her with a bouquet in his hands. Man, the way they greeted each other, it left me speechless. She jumped into his arms, gave him a serious kiss, and they both practically sprinted into a taxi. I followed them, still trying to come up with some sort of innocent explanation. Like maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was just an old friend. But deep down I knew. They got out of the cab, not too far away, and headed straight into a hotel. I swear, a strange calm washed over me, like I was on autopilot. I needed to figure out how to get inside without causing a huge scene. Then I spotted a security guard taking a smoke break. I walked over, told him I needed a big favor, and slipped him a nice wad of Benjamins. He couldn't turn down that kind of tip. So after about 15 minutes, he handed me a master key, the kind maids use, and told me which room they'd gone to. The only condition was that if anything went wrong, I was on my own. He'd never seen me before, never heard of me. Fair enough. I took the elevator up, took a second to breathe, then unlocked the door. And right there on the bed were Vanessa and that guy, going at it like nobody's business. They both froze when they heard me say, in my most sarcastic voice, "Hey, mind if I join you?" Vanessa stared at me in horror, mouth wide open. Her boyfriend lunged at me, fists clenched, but he ran straight into my foot. Let's just put it that way. He backed off quickly and sat down on the edge of the bed. Meanwhile, Vanessa started babbling about how it wasn't what it looked like, that I was just imagining things. I wasn't having it. I grabbed a fistful of her hair and dragged her over to the mirror. Standing there, looking at that disheveled, half-naked woman with her underwear around her knees, I asked, "So, which part did I get wrong? Go ahead. Explain this if it's not what I'm thinking." She fell to her knees, sobbing, begging me to forgive her, swearing it was the first and only time, that she had no idea how it happened, blaming it all on my constant travel. Honestly, I didn't have the energy or desire to argue. I just walked out. On my way home, I called Vanessa's mother, now my ex-mother-in-law, and gave her the short version of what happened. Not that I was fishing for pity. I just asked her to come pick up Vanessa's stuff that very day. Because I was done. I got home, called a locksmith, and had the front door locks changed immediately. Then I headed over to the dealership and canceled the purchase of that brand new Mercedes. Didn't feel any better afterward, but I knew it was the right move. Her parents never showed up. I guess they expected Vanessa to handle the mess she'd made all on her own. She eventually came by, though. She sat on my doorstep, full-on sobbing so loudly the neighbors probably heard everything. I tried to keep my cool, and even thought about calling the cops to get her off my property. But something in me couldn't do it. I let her in. At first, she just cried and begged over and over for forgiveness. She swore I was the love of her life and promised she'd do anything to make things right. Then, maybe out of desperation, she tried to seduce me. By that point, I'd put away almost a whole bottle of whiskey. And you know what? I still had feelings for her. We'd been through so many years together. So I caved. We ended up having one of the roughest nights I can remember. No sweetness, no romance, just raw, angry passion. At dawn, she fell asleep, and I stepped outside to have a smoke. And that's when it really hit me. This was over for good. I didn't even recognize the woman in my bed anymore. She wasn't the wife I married. I had no clue when it all went downhill, but it definitely wasn't a one-time thing. That guy had flowers for her, and she obviously knew him. How long had this been going on? Quietly, I went back in, grabbed all her stuff, and packed it up, because I knew she'd either never do it or drag it out forever. I set her luggage by the door, called a taxi, and then woke her up. I explained it was time for her to go. She started to protest, but I told her I had a flight to catch and couldn't be late. That part was only half true. I was leaving later that evening, but I needed her gone. She had no choice but to leave. Now I'm heading out, and I'm not looking forward to coming back anytime soon. Even though I'll probably have to at some point, for work or to deal with leftover details. It hurts like hell remembering how happy we once were. I could forgive her for the sake of our long history, but I know myself well enough. I'd never truly forget this, never trust her again. And I have no interest in wearing those metaphorical horns. So, that's how my marriage ended. My once beloved wife is out of my life. I'm leaving, and I don't really feel any desire to come back.